Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've been staring at that aging metal on your storefront, wondering if it's about to give up the ghost, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to definitively diagnose your aging storefront security shutter and figure out if it just needs a simple service call or a total replacement. This isn't about guesswork, guys. It's about knowing exactly what your hardware is trying to tell you.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The aging shutter myth, 2. Signals of shutter failure, 3. When to service, 4. When to replace, and 5. Your next steps. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The aging shutter myth, and what actually wears out. Picture this. You inherited a storefront shutter from the early 2000s, or maybe you installed one a decade ago and, frankly, just forgot about it. But lately, something's off. It's getting kind of tough to pull down. It looks pretty rough. And you're standing there wondering, should I replace this 15-year-old shutter, or am I literally just throwing money in the trash? Well, here is the reality check. Most folks think those big metal slats are what fail, mostly because they get dinged up or tagged. But honestly, those slats hold up for decades. What actually gets tired and dies is all the surrounding hardware. We're talking about the motors, the tracks, the bearings, and the bottom rubber seal. It's the engine that fails, not the armor. Moving right along to Section 2, Signals of Shutter Failure. Listen and look. Seriously, do not ignore what your ears are telling you. Sound is absolutely the cheapest diagnostic tool you have. If your shutter sounds different today, it is practically screaming for attention. Hear a harsh metallic grinding? Yeah, your bearings are dying. What about a loose rattle as it rolls? That points straight to track issues. And if you hear a high-pitched whine, that's your motor struggling under a heavy load, crying out for help. Okay, so next we move from sound to sight. Go ahead and pull that shutter all the way down to the floor and take a really close look. If that bottom rubber seal is missing, cracked, or hardened so much that it just doesn't compress anymore, you've got an immediate air and water gap. The great news here is that this is a quick 15-minute fix for a pro, but it is a massive signal that your hardware really needs some eyes on it. Section 3. When to service. The 3 conditions. So let's say you've noticed some of those signals. There are 3 absolute rules your setup has to meet to justify doing a simple repair. Step 1, your slots have to be physically straight with no major impact damage. Step 2, the motor still runs. Now, if it's noisy, that's totally fine. It just means it needs servicing. But if it's hot to the touch, stuck, or tripping your breaker, it's dead. And step 3, your mounting hardware must be standard, meaning it can't be some super custom or discontinued brand from a company that vanished 20 years ago. If all 3 of those boxes are checked, you are in a really great spot. A standard half-day service call to swap out those worn parts, lube up the tracks, and replace the seals, that will easily buy you another 5 to 7 years of life. Talk about a massive return on a pretty minor maintenance investment. Section 4. When to replace. Making the hard call. Sometimes, replacement is just mandatory, and it usually boils down to 3 specific scenarios. First up is the math overlap. If you're looking at replacing 4 major parts, say the motor, controls, tracks, and housing, the cost of labor and parts gets dangerously close to just buying a brand new unit. When the math gets that close, the new unit wins hands down, because you're buying the next 10 years with a warranty, not just the next 4. Second is the wrong original install. If somebody slapped a lightweight residential shutter on your heavy-duty commercial storefront, paying to maintain that mistake is literally throwing good money after bad. And third, the dreaded scissor gate. If you've got one of those old horizontal folding metal gates from the 90s, bless their hearts. They don't seal out air, they don't block weather, and they really lack visual deterrence. When those break, always skip the repair and upgrade to a solid roll-down shutter. Which brings us to Section 5, your next steps. Lifespans and planning. To help you out with your preventative maintenance math moving forward, you should really memorize this timeline. You can expect your bottom rubber seal to last about 3 to 5 years before it starts getting hard or cracking. Your motor, that's generally going to need a service or swap right in that 10 to 15-year window. But the slats and the core structure, if they were mounted correctly, they should easily hit 20 years. So definitely keep those numbers in your back pocket. Now, if the math dictates that you do need a total replacement, there's actually a pretty great silver lining. Sure, your old controls won't pair with the new shutter, they're heading to the scrap heap with the old metal, but you gain some massive modern upgrades. A new installation today includes highly responsive fobs and current phone app pairing. It's a complete modernization of your security footprint. Also, we really need to touch on insurance for a second. Sometimes a broker will casually mention, hey, you need a newer shutter on the building to maintain your coverage, or maybe to get a better rate. If you hear this, push back. Absolutely demand they put that mandate in writing.
Never, ever spend thousands of dollars replacing a perfectly good serviceable shutter just because of a casual off-the-cuff comment from an insurance broker. As we wrap up this diagnostic process, I want you to remember this golden rule. If a provider walks up to your storefront, takes a quick look, and just says, "Wow, it's old, you should probably just replace the whole shebang," without actually diagnosing the specific parts, demand a second opinion. A true professional is going to tell you exactly what's failing, exactly how to fix it, and give you an honest, transparent appraisal of whether it's actually worth the service call. So I'll leave you with this to ponder. Is your storefront truly secure tonight? Or is your shutter actively trying to signal a failure that you've just been tuning out? Take a really close look and listen to your shutter tonight. Use the math and the sensory clues we've talked about in this explainer to make a smart, unpressured decision about your business's security. Thanks so much for joining me, and here's to making informed, confident decisions for your storefront.